Hey, what's up guys? I got another video for you today. We're going to go ahead and do a Suguru sight build on the Hunter. Well, I don't think the Suguru sight will ever be meta for leaderboard or speed runs. I do think this build makes it viable in Nightmare game modes. So what I'll be doing throughout the video, instead of trying to do a speed clear, I will be showing you guys the different tactics and explaining the uses on the build, as it's very, very technical and there's a lot to pay attention to. But we'll go ahead and dive into it, and I'll give you guys the commentary and teach you how to use it along the way. You'll see we start off with fire arrows instead of the multi-shot. That's because the special thing about Sugurus isn't so much that you get to spam the multi-shot, as it is that Sugurus provides the versatility for you to pretty much handle any situation and to switch back and forth between ammo types as needed. The thing to keep in mind, especially when you drop the smoke bomb, is you want to think of it as that smoke bomb is your fortress. You want to get as close as you can, because this build is running the first tech with the extra 50% headshot damage for enemies within 12 meters. And you want to use the Sugurus not as a bow, but as a shotgun. You want to have them as close as possible, hitting them as often as possible with the headshots, the explosive arrow, everything, so they're grouped together and taking as much damage as possible. And while you do this, you're building your resolve, and as you aim, you're just pressing X while they're in a group, and you're resupplying every single time, so you're not running out of ammo. You're not going to see me once have to go to a little ammo pickup in this video and pick up any ammo using Sugurus, which is the big con. You hear about it, and it's a fair critique, but this is a way to balance that out. You'll also notice I have to hit 2 healing drums as I go. I'm running Enjo's Remorse on the build to help build up the damage from having to sacrifice it using the resupply tech. So that's something to keep in mind as well as you go. There's also combat regeneration on the build to help get Enjo's back. This is a really technical way to play. You're going to need to understand exactly how much damage you do with what arrows and when to use them, because using the other arrows in the way of the flame on the build to finish enemies off is also what helps you save more ammo for the multi-shot. You have less that you need to resupply, and it matters more that you can swap between different ammo types than it does for you to just sit there and pop the triple arrow rounds every single time. That's not as important as it is to have a mindset of versatility. Another thing I want to make note of that you'll definitely have noticed by now is you'll notice that every single time I start using the multi-shot or firing the bow, I'm aiming way up. You can't run aim assist and get the most out of this weapon the way you can weightless or stone skipping bow. You need to turn aim assist off and aim above them, because the farther away you are using the multi-shot, the less accurate it is, which is why you need to keep the shotgun and execution mindset when you're standing within your smoke bomb smoke. When you have to be mobile, it's more important for you to be able to hit enemies with the kunai, spread around a little bit of extra fire damage, whittle them down for when you can stop and start popping shots again with whatever arrows the situation calls for. You'll see that I take out an Oni archer with fire arrows. I take out several other enemies with the multi-shot arrows. I take out other enemies with the regular arrows. It just really depends on what the situation demands. But you'll notice the consistent thing throughout the video is that every single time I draw and it becomes available, you're tagging resupply. If you don't tag resupply, you can skip it once or twice. You can use the alt, but this isn't a build where you should be thinking about using the alt at all unless you're just in a situation where you think you're screwed and it's a get out of jail free card. That shot right there from across the gap to kill the Tengu is another reason that I say this is a more technical build, or maybe more of a focus for more experienced players who'd like to give it a shot. Without aim assist, you really have to know the way the maps are set up. I have all of the barrels memorized on every map, so I knew where to stand, where to launch it with the curve of the arrow, so the drop on it, it would hit the barrel and blow up the Tengu and make the clear on the other side a bit easier. You also see that I make it a point to hold the bridge. That's because with the Suguru's bow, it's going to be much easier to drop your smoke and hold a choke point and have everybody consistently grouped together than it is for them to start spreading out, because that's when you have to start really moving around, and you're not exactly weak, but you're not really doing what you want to do. You're not at your strength. If you can keep them in front of you and you can keep them close to you, it's actually in your best interest for them to rush you and for you to just stand there and hold your ground. Quick note as we finish the clear and return to the build screen, you'll notice on the bridge when I dropped the smoke bomb and the munitions appeared, I didn't pick them up right away. Because you're using resupply and refilling your ammo with resolve, you can create space and come back to the munitions and the ammo that dropped when you need to, and actually move away and pick it up as needed. So that gives you a little bit of leeway as well, so you don't have to feel pressured to stand there and get all the ammo in the smoke bomb. One thing in this that I want to make sure I cover is that on Suguru's site, you definitely want to build for the damage types and shield piercing and helmet piercing ammo. That's extremely important, because when you're standing in the smoke, you don't want to have to worry about whether or not you're triggering headshot damage as you aim above them. You always want to be able to pierce shields for enemies that hold them above their face, and you want to be able to pierce helmets of enemies that don't have shields to do that with. Your main focus is going to be resupply and execution techniques, and just keeping your health up as often as you can to keep the Enjo's buff going. I hope this has opened some of your eyes to how useful Sugurus can be. It was a hell of a good time to make this for you guys. And if any of you try it out, I'd like to know what you think. But I do hope wherever you are having yourself a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.